Hi there. I want to take a quick look at masks again, because I know there's been some confusion. A mask is, a mask like a mask you'd wear on your face, hides things, you know. So masked areas you can't see. To create a mask, you click on the little layer mask button down here and add a layer mask, and you see we've got white. Now a white mask reveals and a black mask conceals, just like Zorro's face mask. So with the layer mask selected, I've got a choice of black or white here, and I can switch between them using the little arrow, and if they aren't true black and white, if I click that, it will reset them. So the forward colour is the active one. So if I just draw on this layer mask in black, I've turned my brush flow right down from my previous thing. Let's turn it right up and give ourselves a hard edge brush so it's really see what it's doing. So that is drawing through and unmasking what's beneath it. So I've got another image behind it. So you can see if I splat, I can reveal parts of this. So that's and why that is handy, if I select my background image, I can move that around, and it's like a little window with a see-through part. You can see the little thumbnail of the mask here. By clicking Alt and left clicking on that, you can actually see the thing, and it literally is just a black splat and a white splat. And if I draw on it in white, let's get a brush on there, let's just do like a little smiley face, and smiley face. You can see it updates onto there. Never do Alt and click to go back. Then you see we've done the reverse and kind of re-revealed some of the image. But again, I can just draw and put it all back again. Which you couldn't do if you had a pair of scissors. Now it gets a little bit more complicated than black and white, in that you can create soft shape holes. We've got a white mask, so I need to draw on it in black. And can you see it? Because I'm using a soft brush, it's letting us kind of fade between the two images. If I bring this image up so you can see what it's actually done, it's just like a soft blur. There's a little yucky bit there as well. Press Alt click to come back out of there, and you can see it's just doing a gradient between the two images. Okay, let's make it completely white again. Just drawing over it. So I've got a soft brush, so it's harder to paint over now. There we go. Now selections kind of work in the same way. If I this is crashed. Oh, there it goes. It was just having a moment, don't we all? If I just select this little purple canister, now we've created a selection. Now on my main image with the selection made, if I just do delete, function delete, it's a smart object. We asked about smart objects. If a smart object's smart and you want to stop it being, if you go to layer and then rasterize layer, it stops it being a smart object. Right, so now if I hit the delete key, I've just cut a hole out, but I've not done anything on my mask, you see, which means I can't do much with it beyond that point. So I do Control Z to put that piece away. If I select my mask, which is white, so I want to fill this with black, so I change my ink to black. Now I could either use the paint pot tool, or I could just draw over it. Now I'm only drawing within my selection, which is kind of handy. So I can draw that out and get the same result of deleting it, but with the option that I can put stuff back. So it's just kind of re-revealing it. And this is cool because it lets us do lots of kind of in-between things. So if I go to white, and because I've got a soft brush, I could just go over part of this thing. I can create like an interesting effect. Let's do that. Let's make a slightly smaller brush and do the same thing again. Let's just go drawing over part of the image. So I've got part of the image and I'm seeing through the background, which is fairly interesting, I think. And it's nice that if you're colouring in, a selection only lets you draw within the selected area. So if I stick another layer on top, now my selected area is inside here. Can you see the marching ants? If I invert the selection, so we go to select, inverse, now I've got everything selected apart from that piece. And what can I do with that? So I've got a new layer, so I could pick a different colour. I've got like a purpley colour selected. I can kind of draw around, but without drawing over that piece in the middle. I suppose it's like you've got masking tape on it or something. It just stops you going over the edges. Then we could blend that. We could try these different blend modes and see what happens. If we didn't want to blend it, we could mess with the opacity, so we could make it a bit see-through. But it's kind of interesting. But if I do Control D to deselect everything, you can see what we've got. So we have the bottom picture, which is my bees. And then we've got our picture with the layer mask. The layer mask is just making that hole in it. I think we can disable the layer mask. Disable layer mask. See, it's got a red cross through saying it's disabled. And if we re-enable it, our hole appears again. And then we've got just this top thing we did where we drew around the outside edge. We can bring them back in. That's just the little squares are just showing the transparency area. And then bring it back in the background. What else can we do with this, which won't make it even more confusing? At the moment, can you see these two things are linked? There's a little chain between them. If I turn off that link, then the mask and the picture aren't together. So now I'm moving my layer mask around separately, which you don't normally want to do. Let's go back to where it was. But you can kind of stumble on interesting effects just by doing that. You can do some interesting things. And let's relink those again. I'm just clicking between the two and that little chain links appears and disappears. If I wanted to move both these top two layers, I could hold down shift and click them both. Then I can move just these top two layers around as one thing. If I wanted a more permanent way of doing that, with both of them selected, I can right click and choose link layers. And just like the little link thing there, you get some little links here. And this means if I select just one, see how it's still moving both of those, because they're now linked together. Which is kind of handy if you've got a big complex thing and you don't want it to break apart. If you want to unlink them, select the layers which are linked, right click and choose unlink layers. And then you're able to select just one piece on its own again. Brilliant. Thank you for watching.